Welcome to the second part of my Elfen lead review. Go watch part 1 if you haven't seen it yet already. We cut away from the boring beach drama to the boring household harem antics. I knew we'd see borderline lesbian stuff in that social Neanderthal soon enough. Swear to God, the creators of the show just include these short scenes so all the creepy fanboys can write shitty porn fanfics and actually have a shred of canon to relate them back to. But the episode ends in a huge cliffhanger as Lucy and Nana finally begin to square off. It's rematch time! Will Nana earn her honor back? Will Lucy regain her memories?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I can't wait to see this. Next episode, quick!
Don't you dare hit me! Oh, the tears! She's the one who's bad! Why is it that everyone is taking Lucy's side? Lucy? She's the bad one, not me! I'm good! No, Nana, wait!
I can only imagine being a Japanese guy waiting all week for the next episode during the original run, only to see this shit. Meanwhile, the director of the Diclonius facility calls in the professor's research assistant to silence her. I mean, why not just set in a hitman? You're able to rustle up security and soldiers during Lucy's escape, as well as army commandos when Bando was introduced. You couldn't just have her silently killed? Why do it yourself?
Is this all there is for me? An anonymous virgin bleeding to death on the floor? This can't be it, can it?
Well, that's certainly a Shakespearean death, but why is your last regret dying a virgin? Not thinking about mom or dad or your friends or anything. Just that you haven't had a taste of man meat yet. And you're alive, you just clearly died! What the fuck was the point of that fake-off that lasted all of like 2 seconds? Miss Cyclops reemerges and stumbles around the house a bit, accomplishing literally nothing except hinting at knowing Coda from before the show, which she's done at least a dozen times already. Meanwhile, these two guys talk some more. Like, there's nothing going on in the show. I know I'm not being funny, but this is it. There's no fight scenes, there's no drama, there's not even a romantic angle working. They just talk and accomplish nothing. At least we got to see a Lucy flashback. She's by far the most interesting character on the show when she's not acting like she got hit in the back of the skull with a tire iron. See, it turns out Lucy had a pretty tortured childhood in an orphanage, with all the kids and even the adults absolutely hating her because of her weird horns.
Now I get it. Elfenlied's basically the wet dream of some disgusting nerd who was teased throughout high school and wished he went all Columbine on their asses when he had the chance.
Wow. These are the dumbest bullies ever. They look 10,000 times more stupid than Lucy right now because of this retarded as fuck dance. Lucy decides to play finger paint with her vectors, destroying her room in the process. Also, she's got a dog, which is obviously just a palette swap of Mayu's dog in the present. These bullies end up being fucking psychopaths because they decide to beat the dog to death in order to tease Lucy. These are some super fucked up kids. And of course, what we were all expecting to happen does. Lucy goes Virginia Tech and tears apart the whole room. Hey guys, you know how you could have made this revolution actually a plot twist rather than have something expected from the start? Don't play the same creepy music through the whole flashback. Seriously, even during the happy times, it sounds like someone is about to have their fucking face bisected. During the burial for the dog, we hear the obligatory music box version of the opening theme that pretty much every anime has to include in the soundtrack. The show is drawn on every anime cliche so far. Music box is a forced MacGuffin? Check. Incestuous relationship treated as legitimate? Check. Pink hair? Check. Women so developmentally challenged she can't even go to the bathroom by herself? Check. Check. Fucking check. They go to the zoo, have a lot of fun, and then suddenly Coda suggests they go wading in a stream nearby. It's within walking distance from the zoo, yet they feel secure enough to get naked for some reason. Also, this scene has the most forced dialogue I've ever heard.
In my whole life, I've never had as much fun as I had today. Never in my whole life.
Why are these kids talking like adults from a really shitty romance B-level plot from a daytime soap opera? They also attend a festival that night and... Wait, did you hear that?
What? Illegal in Texas? What are they buying, Mexicans?
Lucy begins to have a massive breakdown after she thinks Coda's cousin's actually a girl he's interested in, and then all these dead people start showing up to try and convince her to tear the whole festival apart. Hal finally appears as the mastermind behind Lucy's psychosis and convinces her to finally give in to the urge to kill people, and she starts to destroy the whole festival.
Sonic boom!
The episode leaves off with the exact same cliffhanger from 2 episodes ago. A tease of a rematch between these two. $10 says they wimp out 30 seconds into the next episode again. Well, no, they actually get into a bit of a fight this time. But they cut away from it during the fucking battle. Like, what the hell? Nana charges. Then they cut to Coda slicing his finger while chopping vegetables. And we really need to see them preparing dinner. Oh, and when they get back, Lucy's already down. The best we get is some rocket fists and another quick cut. Then the battle's over. Like, what a piece of shit!
That girl, that's not Lucy anymore. What?
Yes, I know she's not Lucy anymore. We've established from episode 1 there's split personalities. This is episode 10. You don't need to keep puzzling it out. Fuck! So after 3 fucking episodes, we get back to the subplot of Kurama getting ready to release yet another Diclonius to track down Lucy and Nana. Well, at least they tease it. Then it turns into yet another fucking flashback show. Listen, I have no trouble with flashbacks. They help establish characters, show what happened in the past that's relevant to the present, and so on and so on. But Elfen Lied has stagnated the main plot for about 5 full episodes worth of flashbacks that are entirely fucking pointless! At the very least, this flashback isn't slow and completely unnecessary. We can see the history of the Diclonius. My first question is this. These things are randomly popping up and slaughtering cops across Japan. So how are they not common knowledge? There's no way they could cover up something like that. Oh man, it's a blast from the past. Who would have thought that she'd make a reappearance? Also, it turns out the Kurama is being killing all the newborn Diclonius that keep showing up in the area, but how far does this initiative even reach? I mean, sure, the Diclonius virus that causes people to reproduce Diclonius rather than humans is spread by vectors, but it's still implied that the original Diclonius babies themselves simply randomly appeared. So it's not like they can't continue to appear. It's implied later that it's happening elsewhere in Japan, so are they all funneled to him? What about Diclonius born outside of Japan? Does America or Canada or England or anywhere else have their own Diclonius labs? And what about the Diclonius born in rural areas or third world countries? This idea of Diclonius being born to random people due to it being an advancement of human evolution means that this whole lab and the people in it are just wasting their time trying to contain a problem that's so obviously out of their league. It doesn't matter what they do here, because in bumfuck nowhere there'll be Diclonius born that are out of their reach. And hell, what happens if Diclonius are born in like Afghanistan or Iraq? That pretty much means the end of the American occupation if the terrorists start training Diclonius to fight soldiers. This whole concept is absolutely fucking retarded! The flashback ends with a completely off-the-wall scene where Nana is being crucified by stacks of angry yen bills. This is probably the only attempt at humor that Elfen Lied indulges in that's actually legitimately funny. And even then, I'm still not completely sure if I should be laughing. So finally, we get to see the granddaddy of Diclonius murderers. The one they're going to send out to kill Lucy and Nana. Well, no, we get to see a bunch of hands sticking out of a wall. To actually see her, we'll have to wait for the next episode. Christ! Elfen Lied sure does love its pointless cliffhangers. They eventually release number 35 by manipulating her to remember the staff who she thinks is her mother. And just in case 35 decides to go postal, which she obviously does because this show lacks any sense of surprise or innovation, there's a bomb implanted in her body.
Why?
Why did they plant a bomb in her and not anybody else? Why did she warrant it? Sure, she's got 26 vectors at 11 meters apiece now, but they've already established vectors don't appear until they're 3 years old. So that's not the reason. So why does this one specifically get a bomb? Or, alternatively, if they all have bombs and they just haven't mentioned it on screen, why not just detonate Lucy and Nana?
I'm going to go home, and you're coming with me. It's no use.
Wouldn't this bomb need to be maintained over the years? How did they do that after number 35 had grown her vectors? Why doesn't number 35 just use her vectors to go inside her body and render the bomb harmless? They've already stated Diclonius have advanced intelligence, and the vectors can either be solid or insubstantial as the Diclonius required them to be. So, what the fuck? Hell, if her arms are sticking out of the casing, why not fuck around with the controls from the outside and open the door on your own?
This doesn't make any fucking sense. Plot cohesion. Have you heard of it?
Move quickly. She's unable to use her vectors while she's in a state of pain.
Since when?
The entire fight between Lucy and Nana was based around them getting hurt and still using their fucking vectors. Hell, Nana openly admitted she uses her vectors to operate her prosthetic limb so she appears to move normally. And I guarantee you, those fucking stumps that were severed all of 3 days prior still hurt like a motherfucker.
The show is just pulling shit out of its ass now. They can't even keep their own fucking lore straight.
And we cut back to the daily life of Koda and his polygamous family, where Nana announces her plan to become the world's first morbidly obese Diclonius. However, Koda tries to counter her terrible eating habits by telling her she'll have to get some exercise by doing chores around the house in order to pay for her rent. Also, Mayu seems to be a pretty big fan of Namco. I guess while she was homeless, she spent all the quarters she even made on Pac-Man at the local arcades. Bando makes a triumphant reappearance as a trash man. They never explain why he's still just hanging around the beach all this time. Maybe he's waiting for Lucy again? I don't know. You think he'd go looking for her in the city? Kurama approaches him anyways, decides to get him to kill Mariko. They keep building this massive epic battle between Nana and Mariko. Well, at least this time they don't wait 3 episodes to pay this cliffhanger off. Instead, they don't even bother. Yeah, that's right. They don't even show the battle. The episode starts after Nana's been defeated. Oh, yeah, but let's cut away from the final few bits of the battle that's still left so we can hear some really fucked up shit from Mayu.
And it's nice to have parents. Parents? Of course, at the Kaede house, Koda's the father and you're the mother.
Why did you befriend this girl again?
Also, just to make sure that the show isn't kept too interesting, we segue away yet again to see the billionth flashback of the series. This time we get to see the exact same events. This time from Koda's point of view instead of Yuka's or Lucy's, conveniently reusing old animation cells and voice work. I gotta save money somehow, I guess. Also, it's pretty obvious from the beginning of the series that it was Lucy that chopped up Koda's family, but they still reveal it like it's a big fucking twist. I guess these guys really depend on their viewer base being dumber than a bag of hammers. As the final episode opens, right off the bat, we completely skip the epic climax between Lucy and Bando and show him completely fucking owned for a 3rd time. For all the shit this guy spewed, he really turned out to be kind of a pussy. And here's the only shitty home-based segment I actually like in the whole series, where Yuka spends like a minute and a half completely tearing into herself.
But I'm so selfish. I get jealous that he isn't paying attention to me. I get angry and I nag him and I cry. I'm terrible.
Damn right, bitch. Not getting any sympathy from me. It's because of you that this show bogged down so fucking much.
The final battle between Lucy and Mariko is actually pretty cool, though I guess I don't have much of a frame of reference because it's literally the only battle they've shown so far that's lasted for more than 30 seconds. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good drama or romance, but the draw of Elfen lead with psychic chicks flying around, fighting, and chopping limbs off. That's what it's known for, that's what it teases in over 13 episodes. There might have been maybe 5 minutes of that overall. Oh, you just had to fucking do that, didn't you? This was actually a good fight so far, but you just had to throw in something retarded. Oh no, we can't have an actual entertaining and well-done battle sequence in our show. What can we do to fuck it up? How about a ridiculous-looking levitating wheelchair? Brilliant! Oh yeah, it turns out the director of the Diclonius Laboratories is Diclonius himself, and in pure slapstick fashion, the comedy character wigs out and runs away. What the fuck? This is a pretty big reveal, and you're going to do it in a throwaway scene? What does this even mean? But before we can find out, we cut back to the Coda household, where in typical anime cliche fashion, the clock that is old, broken, even disassembled, springs back to life as Lucy arrives. What a shit-tacular ending. And then even address the reveal of the director being a Diclonius at all. It's just completely ignored outside of that one fucking scene. What the fuck is this?
Well, there is an OVA. Maybe they'll handle on that.
But they don't, because the OVA takes place between episodes 10 and 11 of the main series and is almost entirely filled with the main characters doing stupid slapstick around Coda's fucking house. Oh, sure, there's a few seconds of stuff with Lucy, but that's barely anything at all. What the hell was up with the people who made this show? Did they seriously watch this piece of shit and think, yeah, you know what's really gonna make this show a masterpiece? Adding even more stupid jokes and harem crap.
Fuck Elfen Lied, and fuck you guys for liking it. It's a poorly drawn, poorly acted piece of shit with terrible writing, plot holes you could drive a transport truck through, and unlikable characters with no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Elfen Lied teases you with the promises of cool fight scenes and never, ever delivers. Instead, it tries to fill the void with shitty drama or comedy that almost never works. It constantly forgets its own lore, changing the rules of how things work every 5 seconds to try to cover up all the bullshit mistakes the creators made. And the few times that something cool actually happens, it's got this annoying habit of swapping back to the boring shit during anything interesting, only to return to the tail end of the good stuff, just to tease you with it.
You know, I really have to question all you guys that asked me to review Elfen Lied. Like, you know what I do, right? I review terrible anime. Were you just fans that want a glowing review, or did you actually hate this bag of shit and want me to tear it to shreds? Well, either way, I hope you actually enjoyed Elfen Lied, because I sure as hell didn't. It's like having my nuts in a vice, and you guys are the ones turning the crank. I'm not leaving my next review choice up to you guys. Not after Elfen fucking Lied. Whatever. Just kind of relax. Play some of the vidya. Unwind after all this fucking mess.